we will now proceed to a book reading. So, what is the name of the book we are reading right now? Anyone? Hare Krishna. What is the name of the book? Beyond Birth and Death. Haribol. And how many chapters do we have in this book?
7 chapters.
7? No, Prabhuji. How many chapters?
5 chapters.
5 chapters. Haribol. Yeah, 5 chapters. It's a small book, but very powerful. So, what was the name of the first chapter? We've already completed the first chapter. What was the name of the first chapter?
We are not these bodies.
Haribol. We are not the bodies, right? And what is the name of the second chapter we're reading right now?
Elevation at death.
Sorry, Mataji?
Elevation at death.
Elevation at death. Haribol. Very nice. Beautiful. So yesterday we completed chapter 1, the last few paragraphs, and then we started with our chapter 2, and we're almost completed 60 to 70% of chapter 2 as well. So today we will complete chapter 2. So would anyone like to do a quick recap, summarization of what we read yesterday? Who would like to summarize? What were some of the important points we read yesterday? Whatever you could recollect.
Everyone is turning to material subjects for enjoyment and is comparing as much knowledge as possible. The situation is that we are actually seeking eternal knowledge, but this can't be acquired by this material body.
Very nice. Haribol. Thank you so much, Ekampar Prabhuji. Very nice. Who else? What were the other points? Hare Krishna.
The important point was different yoga discussed first, and then at the time of death, our what is called Jindagi, between the two eyebrows. So when we leave, that time we should think about the Krishna, then only our we can elevate ourselves. That is the main.
Haribol, so beautiful. Yes, such an important point it was. Very nice. The eyebrows, yeah, that was a very important point. We read about the different kinds of transcendentalists who are called yogis. Like, what were the types of yogis? 4 types of yogis, which they described. Anyone remembers? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jnana Yogi, Dhyana Yogi, and
Hatha Yoga.
Yes, Mataji. Hatha yogis.
Bhakti yogis.
Bhakti yogis. Haribol, very nice. Hatha yogis, Jnana yogis, Dhyana yogis, and Bhakti yogis. And he says all of them are eligible to be transferred to spiritual world. So what is the meaning of the word yoga?
To connect
connection.
to love.
Link.
Yeah. So according to Srila Prabhupada, it is to link up. Okay. Yoga means to link up. So which means these yoga systems, the reason why they've created is it helps us, it enables us to link with the up, which is the transcendental world, right? So that is the meaning of yoga. Very nice. And there's one more meaning for the word yoga. What is that? Anyone remembers? He gave 2 versions. One is link up. What is the other one? If anyone has the book also, you can see, you'll be able to instantly relate. All this we read in chapter 2 at the start. So another meaning of the word yoga is plus. Okay. So what Srila Prabhupada says is, at the present moment, we are minus God or minus the Supreme. When we add Krishna or God to our lives, our life becomes perfect. So that is why it's called plus. So plus Krishna. Okay. So that is what it says. Very nice.
And also, Can I say one point,
Yes,
Mataji?
yes, Mataji, go ahead. Yeah.
Mataji, and
Good.
like life is like a preparation and death is the final examination. So
Exactly.
Prabhupada is comparing with the student who prepares for a final examination and he
Yeah.
clears and gets the degree. So we should be practicing all our life.
Hari bol. Hari bol. Very nice, Mataji. That was a beautiful analogy given by Srila Prabhupada, right? Linking
Yes.
it to a exam, right? So beautiful. Very nice. So, yeah. Anything else anyone would like to share?
Srila Prabhupada explained about different spiritual planes and in which we required, like in if we go to different country, we require different visas or all those the kind of formalities.
Hmm. Okay. Very nice. What is pratyahara in yoga? That also Srila Prabhupada has told. What is pratyahara? That was an important concept he explained yesterday in the book. Anyone remembers? Pratyahara. We read this. What is the meaning of pratyahara?
Just the opposite.
Yes, Haribol, just the opposite. So what do we mean as the opposite here? What is he referring to here?
All life we are looking outside and enjoying the sensual pleasures. But at
Hmm.
death we are looking within and concentrating at the
Yes,
same.
Haribol. Haribol. So beautifully said, Lakshmi Mataji. Yeah, so that's what he calls it as pratyahara, which means just the opposite, which means all through our life, our eyes are engaged in seeing the worldly beauty. But during death, we'll have to retract our senses from all these objects and see the beauty within, right? Similarly, yeah, sorry, Mataji, you were saying something?
No, Mataji, no.
Yeah, so he said similarly, the ears are also accustomed to hear so many sounds in the world, but at the moment of death, one has to hear the transcendental Omkara within. Right? So that was also a beautiful concept Srila Prabhupada explained. Okay. And also we read about the spaceship, space suits. I think Pushpa Mataji covered that point. Okay. Then we also read about Jnana system, Bhakti Yoga system, and all of that. Uh, what is material universe? What is spiritual universe? Anyone? What do we mean by material universe?
Material, the universe which we are living.
Sorry, Prabhuji, material?
Material world is the world which we are living now.
We are living now. So you mean to say only Earth is material universe?
No, no, no.
What else then it means, Prabhuji?
Mataji, it is the place where there is birth, death, old age, and disease. And
Hari
people,
bol.
spiritual world is there is no birth, old age, disease, and death.
Yes, very
Spiritual world is
nice.
permanent and material world is temporary. Anyhow, in whichever levels we are, that whatever age they have, like more than 60,000 a year, than Earth here, or more than this or less than this. Ultimately, they have to be destroyed or they have to be finished. Only
Yeah.
And also,
Hari.
Mataji, an intelligent person will not try to get to any of the planets in the material world. He will want to
Yes.
finally go to spiritual world.
Haribol, so beautiful. Thank you, Pushpa Mataji and Lakshmi Mataji, for summarizing it so beautifully. Exactly like you said, material world universe is anything where there's birth, death, old age, and disease. So it's not just the Earth we are living in, but all the other higher planets also. Just that the duration is different there. Here, maybe if we live for 100 years, there we might live for 10,000 years. But still, there is death there. So as long as there is birth and death, old age and disease in any place, it is considered to be material. Only when we get free from this cycle completely, that's when it means we are in the spiritual realm, right? Very good. So, and one more thing they said, right? Can we enter with this body to higher planets
No,
with the
Mataji.
same body? No.
No,
Why we can't?
Uh, because for every we have to be in that kind of a state, like in be yogis they can enter to that by their mind, not by their bodies.
Yeah. So if we try to enter any higher planet with this body, instant
That's
death is assured, right? That's what Srila Prabhupada says. Instant death is assured. Because our body is not, cannot accustom to that atmosphere or, changes. It will not be suitable for that planet. But if one attempts to go to the higher planets by means of yoga system, then he will acquire a suitable body for entrance. So, that is how they are saying it so very beautifully, right? He's given a beautiful analogy of, that we are not able to live in the sea in a watery atmosphere. And similarly, aquatics, they cannot live in the earth, right? So we are seeing it in the earth itself, right? So we need that suitable body to survive in that respective environment. So that is also beautifully described, right? So, okay. And for the soul, there is no birth or death, right? And that's also Srila Prabhupada clearly says, once having been, does he ever cease to be? He's unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He's not slain when the body is slain. And he also says, we are the spirit soul, and as such, we are eternal, right? So that is why we should never subject ourselves to this birth and death cycle. And one who asks this question is considered to be intelligent. So those who are Krishna conscious are very intelligent because they are not interested in gaining entrance to any planet where there is death. They will reject a long duration of life in order to attain a body like God's, right? So Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. So that's what we read. Beautiful. All right. So we will then continue with our class. Yeah. Muthumanikam Prabhuji, I think you're in which page, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Page 22, page 22.
This one for the impersonalist.
Okay. Just scroll up once, Prabhuji. I'll check this book. Up, Prabhuji. Hmm. No, no. I think you're scrolling down. I said scroll up, Prabhuji. Yeah. So yeah, we completed till this. Yeah, so we completed with this paragraph wherein it says he has given the analogy of fever, right? When we get fever, we'll have to take precaution and remedies to get back to normal. Similarly, all these fourfold miseries are like a fever, and they're all due to the material body. So if somehow we can get out of the material body, then we can escape these miseries that are integral with it. That is where we stopped. Okay, Hari Bol. So we'll start from here today. Yeah, so I see Lakshmi Mataji, your hand is raised. Whoever is interested to read, please raise your hands. Yeah, Lakshmi Mataji, you can start. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For the impersonalists to get out of this temporary body, Krishna here advises that they vibrate the syllable Om. In this way, they can be assured of transmigration into the spiritual world. However, although they may enter the spiritual world, they cannot enter into any of the planets there. They may remain outside in the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti may be compared to the sunshine, and the spiritual planets may be compared to the sun itself. In the spiritual sky, the impersonalists remain in the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti. The impersonalists are placed in the Brahma Jyoti as spiritual sparks, and in this way, the Brahma Jyoti is filled with spiritual sparks. This is what is meant by merging into the spiritual existence. It should not be considered that one merges into the Brahmajyoti in the sense of becoming one with it. The individuality of the spiritual spark is retained, but because the impersonal does not want to take a personal form, he is found as a spiritual spark in that effulgence. Just as sunshine is composed of so many atomic particles. So the Brahma Jyoti is composed of so many spiritual sparks.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Dhanvat pranam. Hare.
Dandavad.
Pushpa Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanvat pranam.
However, we living entities, we want enjoyment. Being in itself is not enough. We want bliss, ananda, as well as being sat. In this entirely, the living entity is composed of three qualities: eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Those who enter impersonally into the Brahma Jyoti can remain there for some time in full knowledge that they are now merged homogeneously with Brahman, but they cannot have that eternal Ananda bliss because that part is wanting. One may remain alone in a room for some time and may enjoy himself by reading a book or engaging in some thought, but it is not possible to remain in that room for years and years at a time, and certainly not for all eternity. Therefore, one who merges impersonally into the existence of the Supreme, there is every chance of falling down again into the material world in order to acquire some association. This is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. Astronauts may travel thousands and thousands of miles, but if they do not find rest on some planet, they have to return again to earth. In any case, rest is required. In the impersonal form, rest is uncertain. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam says that even after so much endeavor, if one returns again into the material world because of neglecting to serve the Supreme Lord in love and devotion, as long as we are here on earth, we must learn to practice to love and serve Krishna, the Supreme Lord. If we learn this, we can enter into his spiritual planet. Impersonalist position in the spiritual world is non-permanent. For out of the loneliness, he will attempt to acquire some association. Because he does not associate personally with the Supreme Lord, he has to return again to the world and associate with conditioned living entities there. Hare Krishna Mata Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dhanvat pranam. So beautiful. Padma Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji, today?
Yes, Mataji, you are. Go ahead,
It
Mataji.
is of utmost Hare Krishna, Mataji. It is of utmost importance, therefore, that we know the nature of our constitutional position. We want eternity, complete knowledge, and also pleasure. When we are left alone for a long time in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, we cannot have pleasure, and therefore we accept the pleasure given by the material world. But in Krishna consciousness, real pleasure is enjoyed. In the material world, it is generally accepted that the highest pleasure is sex. This is a perverted reflection of the sex pleasure in the spiritual world, the pleasure of association with Krishna. But we should not think that the pleasure there is like the sex pleasure in the material world. No, it is different. But unless sex life is there in the spiritual world, it cannot be reflected here. Here, it is simply a perverted reflection, but the actual life is there in Krishna, who is full of all pleasure. Therefore, the best process is to train ourselves now so that at the time of death we may transfer ourselves to the spiritual universe, to Krishna Loka, and there associate with Krishna. In Brahma Samhita 529, Sri Krishna and his abode are described thus. चिन्तामणिप्रकरसद्मसुकल्पवृक्ष लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तम् लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रं सेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of wish fulfilling trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. This is a description of Krishna Loka. The houses are made of what is called touchstone. Whatever touchstone touches immediately turns into gold. The trees are wish fulfilling trees or desire trees, for one can receive from them whatever he wishes. In this world, we get mangoes from mango trees and apple from apple trees, but there from any tree one can get whatever he desires. Similarly, the cows are called surabhi. and they yield an endless supply of milk. These are descriptions of the spiritual planets found in Vedic scriptures.
Haribol Mataji, thank you so much. Tanvat pranams.
And pranams, Mataji.
Very nice. Ekambar Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. In this material world, we have become acclimatized to birth, death, and all sorts of suffering. Material scientists have discovered many facilities for enjoyment and destruction, but they have discovered no solution to the problems of the old age, disease, and death. They cannot make any machine that will check death, old age, or disease. We can manufacture something that will accelerate death, but nothing that will stop death. Those who are intelligent, however, are not concerned with the fourfold miseries of material life, but with elevation to the spiritual planets. One who is continuously in trance, Nitya Yuktasa Yogina, does not divert his attention to anything else. He is always situated in trance. His mind is always filled with the thought of Krishna without deviation. Ananya Chata Satatam. Satatam refers to anywhere and anytime. In
Hare
India,
Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
in India,
Krishna, Tanvat pranams. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Krishnadas Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
In,
Krishna.
in India, I lived in Vrindavana, and now I am in America. But this does not mean that I am out of Vrindavana. Because if I think of Krishna always, then I am always in Vrindavana, regardless of material designation. Krishna consciousness means that one always lives with Krishna on that spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavana, and that one is simply waiting to give up his material body. Smrati Nitya Saha means continuously remembering. And for one who is continuously remembering Krishna, the Lord becomes Tasyaham Sulabha, easily purchased. Krishna himself says that he is easily purchased by is purchased by this Bhakti Yoga process. Then why should we take to any other process? We can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, 24 hours daily. There are no rules and regulations. One can chant in the street, in the subway, or at his home or office. There is no tax and no expense. So why not take to it? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. So beautiful. So with this, we've completed our chapter 2 also. So we've completed 2 chapters, and we are now starting chapter 3. Hari Bol to all of you. Very well. So we'll start our chapter 3. Chapter 3 is titled Liberation from the Material Planets. So chapter 1 we saw we are not the bodies. Chapter 2 we read about elevation and death. A lot of interesting concepts. This chapter we'll see liberation from material planets, how to achieve that. Okay. So we'll start with chapter 3. So Muthumanikam Prabhuji, would you like to read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Chapter 3 Liberation from Material Planets. The Jnanis and Yogis are generally impersonalists, and although they attain the temporary form of liberation by merging into the impersonal effulgence, the spiritual sky, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, their knowledge is not considered pure by penances, austerities, and meditations. They can rise up to the platform of Supreme Absolute. But as has been explained, they again fall down to the material world because they haven't taken Krishna's personal features seriously. Unless one worships the lotus feet of Krishna, he again has to descend to the material platform. The ideal attitude should be, I am your eternal servitor. Because let me somehow engage in your service. Krishna is called Ajitaha, unconquerable. For no one can conquer God. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, one with this attitude easily conquers the Supreme. Srimad Bhagavatam also recommends that we give up this futile process to measure the Supreme. We cannot even measure the limitations of space. What to speak of the Supreme? It is not possible to measure the length and breadth of Krishna by one's minuscule knowledge. And one who arrives at this conclusion is considered intelligent by Vedic literature. One should come to understand submissively that he is very insignificant segment of the universe. Abandoning the endeavor to understand the Supreme by limited knowledge or mental speculations, we should become submissive and hear of the Supreme through authoritative sources such as Bhagavad Gita or through the lips of realized soul. In the
Hare
Bhagavad Gita, yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. All right. So, Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is hearing about God from the lips of Sri Krishna himself. In this way, Arjuna set the criterion for understanding the Supreme by submissive hearing. It is our position to hear Bhagavad Gita from the lips of Arjuna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. After hearing, it is necessary to practice this acquired knowledge in daily life. My dear Lord, you are unconquerable, the devotee prays, but by this process, by hearing, you are conquered. God is unconquerable, but he is conquered by the devotee who abandons mental speculation and listens to authoritative sources. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranams. Pushpa Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranams.
According to the Brahma Samhita, there are two ways of acquiring knowledge: the ascending process and the descending process. By the ascending process, one is elevated through knowledge acquired by himself. In this way, one thinks, I don't care for any authorities or books. I will attain knowledge myself by meditation, philosophy, etc. In this way, I will understand Gita, understand God. The other process, the descending process, involves the receiving knowledge from higher authorities. The Brahma Samhita state that if one takes to the ascending process and travel at the speed of mind and winds for millions of years, he will still end up not knowing. For him, the subject matter will remain elusive and inconceivable. But that subject matter is given in the Bhagavad Gita, Ananya Cheta. Krishna says no Ananya Cheta. Krishna says to meditate on him without deviation from the path of devotional service in submission. For one who worship him in this way, tasyaham sulabha. I become easily available. This is the process. If one works for Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna cannot forget him. By becoming submissive, he can attract the attention of God. As Guru Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, don't try to see God. If God is God to come and stand before us like a servant just become because we want to see him. That is not the submissive way. We have to oblige him by our love and service. Hare Krishna Mata Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji, Dhanvat Pranams. Very beautiful. Padma Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. The proper process for approaching Krishna was given to humanity by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Rupa Goswami, his first disciple, appreciated it. Rupa Goswami was a minister in the Mohammedan government, but he left the government to become a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he first went to see the Lord, Rupa Goswami approached him with the following verse: Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.53. Rupa Goswami called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the most munificent, the most charitable personality because he was offering the most precious thing of all very cheaply, love of God. We all want Krishna and are all hankering after him. Krishna is the most attractive, the most beautiful, the most opulent, the most powerful, and the most learned. That is the object of our hankering. We are hankering after the beautiful, the powerful, the learned, the wealthy. Krishna is the reservoir of all of this. So we need only turn our attention towards Him and we will get everything. Everything, whatever we want. Whatever is our heart's desire will be fulfilled by this process of Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Krishna Das Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. For one who dies in Krishna consciousness, as stated before, entrance into Krishna Loka, the supreme abode where Krishna resides, is guaranteed. At this point, one may ask what the advantage is in going to that planet, and Krishna himself answers, मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमं गतः. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Gita 8.15. This material world is certified by Sri Krishna, the Creator, as Dukkhalayam, full of miseries. How then can we make it comfortable? Is it possible to make this world comfortable by the so-called advancement of science? No, this is not possible. As a result, we do not even wish to know what these miseries are. The miseries, as stated before, are birth, old age, disease, and death. And because we cannot make a solution to them, we try to set them aside. Science has no power to solve these miseries that are always giving us trouble. Instead, they divert our attention to the making of spaceships or atomic bombs. The solution to these problems is given here in the Bhagavad Gita. If one attains to Krishna's platform, he does not have to return again to this earth of birth and death. We should try to understand that this place is full of miseries. It takes a it takes a certain amount of developed consciousness to understand this. Cats and dogs and hogs cannot understand that they are suffering. Man is called a rational animal, but this rationality is being used to further his animalistic propensities instead of to find out how to get liberation from this miserable condition. Hare Krishna explicitly states that one who comes to him will never be reborn to suffer miseries again. Those great souls who come to him have attained the highest perfection of life, which elevates the living entity from the suffering of conditioned existence. Hare
Hare
Krishna Mataji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
And that's pranam.
Ekamba Prabhuji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. One of the differences between Krishna and an ordinary being is that an ordinary entity can be in only one place at a time, but Krishna can be everywhere in the universe, and that also in his own abode. Simultaneously, Krishna's abode in the transcendental kingdom is called Golaka Vrindavana. The Vrindavana in India is that same Vrindavana descended on this earth. When Krishna descends himself by his own internal potency, this Dharma or abode also descends. In other words, when Krishna descends on this earth, he manifests himself in that particular land. Despite this, Krishna's abode remains eternally in the transcendental sphere in the Vaikuntha. In this verse, Krishna proclaims that one who comes to this abode in the Vaikuntha never has to take birth again in the material world. Such a person is called a Mahatma. The word Mahatma is generally heard in the West in connection with Mahatma Gandhi, but we should understand that Mahatma is not a title of a politician. Rather, Mahatma refers to the first class Krishna conscious man who is eligible to enter into the abode of Krishna. The Mahatma's perfection is this to utilize the human form of life and the sources of nature to extricate himself from the cycle of birth and death.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Tanvat Pranam. Sorry, Bol. Uttamanakkam, Prabhuji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Hare Krishna. An intelligent person knows that he does not want miseries, but they are inflicted upon him by force. As stated before, we are always in a miserable condition due to this mind, body, natural disturbances, or other living entities. There is always some kind of misery inflicted upon us. The material world is meant for misery. Unless the misery is there, we cannot come to Krishna consciousness. Miseries are actually an impetus and help to elevate us to Krishna consciousness. An intelligent man questioned why these miseries are inflicted on him by force. However, modern civilization's attitude is let me suffer, let me cover it by some intoxication. That's all. But as soon as the intoxication is over, the miseries return. It is not possible to make solution to the miseries of life by artificial intoxication. The solution is made by Krishna consciousness. One may find out that although the devotees of Krishna are trying to enter Krishna's planet, everyone else is interested in going to the moon, isn't it? Going to the moon also perfection. The tendency to travel to other planets is always present in the living entity. One name for the living entity is Sarvagata, which means one who wants to travel everywhere. Travel is a part of the nature of living entity. The desire to go to the moon is not a new thing. The yogis also are interested in entering the higher planets. But in the Bhagavad Gita 8.16, Krishna points out that this will not be of any help.
Hare Krishna,
Abraham,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Padma Mataji, would you like to continue next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartinurjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. The universe is divided into higher, middle, and lower planetary systems. The Earth is considered to be a member of the middle planetary system. Krishna points out that even if one enters into the highest planet of all, called Brahmaloka, there is still repetition of birth and death. Other planets in the universe are full of living entities. We should not think that we are here and that all the other planets are vacant. From experience, we can see that no place on earth is vacant of living entities. If we dig deep down into the earth, we find worms. If we go deep into the water, we find aquatics. If we go into the sky, we find so many birds. How is it possible to conclude that other planets have no living entities? But Krishna points out that even if we enter into those planets where great demigods reside, we will still be subjected to death. Again, Krishna repeats that upon reaching his planet, one need not take birth again. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Tanvat Pranam.
Welcome.
Lakshmi Mataji, would you like to read next? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. We should be very serious about attaining our eternal life full of bliss and knowledge. We have forgotten that this is actually our aim of life, our real self interest. Why have we forgotten? We have simply been entrapped by the material glitter, by skyscrapers, big factories, and political play. Although we know that, however big we build skyscrapers, we will not be able to live here indefinitely. We should not spoil our energy in building mighty industries and cities to further entrap ourselves in material nature. Rather, our energy should be used to develop Krishna consciousness in order to attain a spiritual body whereby we may enter into Krishna's planet. Krishna consciousness is not a religious formula or some spiritual recreation. It is the most important part of the living entity. Hari Bol Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Danvat pranams. Hari Bol,
Dandavat.
we completed our chapter 3 as well. So today we've completed chapter 2 and chapter 3 also. Hari Bol to all of you. Very nice. So tomorrow we will start our chapter 4. So mostly in the next 2 classes, we will be completing this book and then we will start our next book. So request to all of you, it's all small chapters. Please go through and come for the class tomorrow, whatever we've read. It's so interesting, right? Interesting to read, listen also. So nice. So please go through and come. Also make sure you read the Bhagavad Gita Shloka 1.3 and 1.1 and 1.2. If you've not yet read, please make sure you read it and come for the class tomorrow. Okay, so we will read Shloka 1.4 tomorrow. Right, so at the end of the week, we will revise all 5 shlokas and then we will do a quick recap of this book as well. Okay, and then we will begin our next book. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol to all of you, Danvat Pranams, thank you so much. Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone, Danvat Pranams, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat pranam.